Welcome. I know there's many people here on different time zones, but I just wanted to welcome you all. Welcome to this edition of Young Global Citizens Interviews. Young Global Citizens is a wonderful group of youth from across the world who come together with some common principles and values rooted in kindness, curiosity, courage, and wanting to do good in this big wide world, and coming together to be bigger than themselves and bigger than their communities, and being part of one world together as a global citizen. So welcome all. My name is Stephanie Burns-Staiano. I am from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, although I am coming to you live from London, England. Actually, that's where I am right now. So today we have a very special guest, and I would like to introduce our guest in just a moment. But they are here all the way from Seoul, South Korea, and I believe it's about 9 a.m. your time. So good morning. And we also have many students on this call, also from all over the world, and there'll be many more watching the recording of this interview after, those who couldn't join us today. So please, without further ado, I would like to warmly welcome our guest. Now I'm just looking for you on the screen. Hello, welcome. Mr. Kyu Lee is a 10-year studio veteran out of Sony Pictures Entertainment, and oversees titles ranging from Columbia Pictures and Screen Gems that include such as Spider-Man, Casino Royale, The Da Vinci Code. Mr. Lee is an executive producer for the remake classic of the 1958 Jackson, who I personally love. And on the two, Mr. Lee recently brokered the US hit series Criminal Minds. And it was done as a remake in Korea. And other projects that Mr. Lee produced included the summer blockbuster hit Operation Chromite, a Korean film about the Battle of Incheon, set in the Korean War. The film features Mr. Liam Neeson, also another actor I really love, the first Hollywood star actually to be cast in a Korean film. I hope you have that fun fact correct. The film was hugely successful and did about $7 million locally in Korea and also released worldwide. Mr. Lee was also the forefront in globalizing K-pop artist Psy's hit song, Gangnam Style. Everybody knows that song. And Mr. Lee was responsible for introducing Psy to Justin Bieber's manager, Scooter Braun, and strategized his activities in the United States, resulting in Psy's worldwide success and becoming the #1 most viewed video in YouTube's history. Pretty huge and pretty profound. Mr. Lee is the founder and CEO of Kino 33 Entertainment since 2012, which specializes in film, TV, and music management, and also production. And he is also the Senior Vice President of Sonic Tier Audio, STA. And through SDA's post-production and sound mixing services, Mr. Lee has participated in the production of over 50 films in the US and in the Asian markets. That's huge. SDA develops multi-channel audio mixing software, also known as 3D audio solutions, and provides for theater, broadcasting, and mobile platforms and devices around the globe, being the first Asian and only Korean company to provide 3D sound technology to all media and VR fields. And there's many more things to introduce you about, but this is just a few. We are so delighted to have you, and we have so many wonderful questions. And we thank you for your time this morning. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you were born in South Korea and moved to the United States when you were 2. And obviously, you must do, through all of your activities, a tremendous amount of travel back and forth. I imagine you do travel quite a bit. Is that correct?
I do. I travel a little too much now that I'd like, but it's a
I
good time.
bet. And straddling probably many time zones as well. Well, again, welcome, and thank you for your time this morning. How about we get started? Are you ready for some questions?
Let's go for it.
Wonderful. All right. Our first question is by a student from Simon Monet School in Montreal.
Can you tell us about your youth growing up and about your love your love for sports?
Sure. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, in a small town called Mercer Island. It was a very predominantly a Jewish community, and I was one of the very few Asian people in my town. But everyone was very very nice and embracing. Our town was very a lot of fans of tennis and swimming and baseball and soccer and of those sports, I guess baseball became something that I really fell in love with because you may be a little too young to know, but when I was growing up, which was a long time ago compared to you, Ken Griffey Jr. was one of the stars of the baseball team in Seattle called the Seattle Mariners. And watching him was the most incredible thing for me as a baseball fan. And growing up, he was my idol, and I just wanted to be like him. So every time he was on TV, or I was able to watch him live at the game, I just wanted to do everything possible to be just like him. So, the way he swung his bat, the way he threw the ball, the way he spoke during interviews, to how he wore his clothes and how he walked. I mean, I wanted to copy him exactly the way he was because I felt like if I did exactly what he did, then one day I may become a professional baseball player too. So that's what I did. But long story short, at the end of the day, I didn't become a pro baseball player, but through the dreams and inspiration that I got from my idol, I was able to create my own journey and my own dreams, and use that inspiration and drive to become what I've become today. I give credit to Ken Griffey Jr. for being that light and inspiration to continuing to try and do great things. So I guess I'm not sure if that answers your question, but my upbringing and my background and the people that I grew up with and the sports that I was exposed to, in turn, helped me fall in love with the sport that I love today, which is baseball. And I'm sure you can see all these baseballs up here, of my favorite players that signed, the balls for me. So still a huge fan, still a huge inspiration. And those are the keys to the success in life, is to continue to dream and have inspired events and people that drive you to be what you want to be.
Great, thank you. Our next question is coming from Lola Freach, also from the same school in Montreal. And please go ahead.
Can you tell us about how you came to work for Sony Pictures and in this industry? We hear you have a really interesting story about how fate can lead to unexpected places by being at the right place at the right time.
Sure. That story was a secret for a very, very long time. Until a few years ago, I was asked the question, and I was put on the spot, and I couldn't lie, so I ended up telling the truth. But when I was a student at the University of Washington, and it was my junior senior year, that's the time in your life when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to graduate. What am I going to do with my life? I'm going to find a job. Where am I going to work? Is anyone going to hire me? You have all these kinds of anxiety and excitement and emotions and concerns and all this kind of stuff, because now you have to be a responsible adult, and you have to make your own money to pay your own rent, to pay your own phone bill, and to buy your own food, and to do your own laundry and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of responsibility that all of a sudden is a burden on your shoulders. So when I was in college, I started to write down, literally on a piece of paper, and write down all the different companies that I wanted to work for, or that I had an interest in. So sports and entertainment was my field of choice. So literally in the United States, all on the West Coast, from Seattle to Sacramento to San Francisco to Los Angeles to San Diego, I looked up all of the pro basketball teams and baseball teams and football teams, and then movie studios and the TV networks and the small production companies. And I literally wrote a list of 300 different companies, and I printed out 300 resumes and 300 cover letters, explaining why I should have an opportunity to work at the company. And then one by one, I processed and sent those resumes and cover letters in 4 different ways. I sent it by regular mail, I faxed them, I emailed them, and I actually found the address of the companies and walked the resume into their offices in any possible way that I could, even if I had to sneak in, because I had to make sure that they got my resume, because you never know, right? So I got in a habit of doing stuff like that. And when I went down to LA, it happened to be the same weekend as the Academy Awards, which is the biggest award show in entertainment. And, I was staying at a friend's house, and I asked him, hey, I heard the Academy Awards is not too far away from your house. We should go check it out. And my friend was like, you must be crazy. That's not possible. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you can't go there unless you're invited or if you're famous. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to go into the awards. I just want to see what it looks like from outside. And my friend's like, well, you can't even do that because people camp out in front of that facility 3 days before just to get the right, location to sit, to watch the limos and the stars, walk by across the street and go into the auditorium. So I said, well, have you ever tried yourself? And he's like, no, I've never gone. And so I was like, well, then how do you really know? And he's like, well, I just do. And I was like, well, that's a bunch of garbage. If you've never done it, then you really don't know. And I told him, well, I want to try. And he's like, well, good luck. So he didn't go with me. He's like, good luck, go by yourself. But in a way, it was a blessing in disguise because I didn't have any responsibility to, wait for somebody or take care of anybody except for me. So I went, but I went prepared. I went I went dressed up. I wore a suit just in case I ran into somebody, that could have been important or whatever. And I wanted to put on a good first impression. Um, so when I got there, he was right. There was a lot of people just couldn't get in anywhere and whatnot. But at the same time, I was by myself. So I was able to kind of weave my way through the crowd and get closer and closer to the auditorium. And I literally was walking around there for at least an hour, hour and a half while I was, getting ready to get going. And as I was walking around the vicinity, uh, this is quite a long story, but I'll try to keep it as short as I possibly can. Uh, I saw some Asian people from far away, and I thought that was really fascinating because I've never seen Asian people at the Academy Awards. Um, and so I was curious, so I went closer and closer. And as I got closer, I could kind of figure out who they were, and they were really famous Hong Kong movie stars. Um, and so the closer I got, the closer I was getting to the entrance. And there was a back entrance where people were just kind of hanging out. And I got close enough where I could literally be a few feet away from those actors. And when I got too close, there were security guards that were looking at me like I was at the wrong place. And then I got scared because when you see like police officers or security guards in America, because they were like really big and scary looking, you get nervous. And I was like a little kid. So when they were looking at me, I got scared. But when they were trying to talk to me, they thought I didn't speak any English. And then they saw the Chinese people behind me that were the actors. So they thought I might have been part of that entourage. So they're like, sorry, go ahead. And so go ahead means I better get my butt in there real quick before it's too late. So I literally followed the Chinese cast into the Oscars. And I sat a few rows behind him, and I was watching the entire Academy Awards live. And the crazy thing about that evening was the cast of the Chinese people that I met were the actors and director of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was an old Chinese art film from 2001. And that year, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon became the first Asian film to win an Academy Award. But not only one, they won 4 Academy Awards that night. And all of a sudden, all the people that were non-Asian in that auditorium thought I was a part of that movie because I was Asian. And I took that as an opportunity to take advantage of. And I literally followed them all the way to the after party and started making friends. And I started making friends with people that were executives at Sony Pictures Entertainment. And Sony Pictures Entertainment was the distributor and producer of the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And I started to get all these business cards, and I was schmoozing with these executives, and literally 3 months later, I landed my first job at the company, and I worked there for 10 years. And like you had asked in your question, or said in your question, I was literally at the right place at the right time. It was like Spielberg when he was a kid. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Steven Spielberg, obviously, but people like him snuck into Universal Pictures and made a secret office there for months and months and months before he got his first, gig. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, famous action star, was a waiter at a very famous restaurant in Beverly Hills. So I mean, things like that were possible back then, and it was possible. It was possible for someone like me. I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't have straight A's. I wasn't born into royalty. I didn't have that kind of network growing up. But I had a dream, and I had an opportunity, and I was at the right place at the right time. at the same time, I didn't break any laws. I just happened to get in, and I got lucky. And as I got lucky, I continued to, take advantage of the resources that I had, and built what I had today. So that's how my career in Hollywood started. Was sneaking into the Oscars and meeting the right people at Sony, and them, at the end of the day, giving me a job. And then 20 years later, they found out I actually snuck in to get the job, which became another fun story for them to be able to listen to and to tell to their colleagues as well. So, and it ended up as a happy ending.
Wow, that is such an extraordinary story. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
I think what I love about it is the tenacity and the tenaciousness of going after, as you say, your dream.
I honestly didn't know what I was doing. It was all impulse. It was, it was all adrenaline. But it's kind of like the story of my life, I guess, in a way, with all the things that are happening right now as well.
Right. Well, that's just fantastic. Thank you. Our next question is coming from Nicole Semler, and she's a teacher from Manitoba.
Hey, Kyu.
Hey, Nicole.
You're melting my heart over here. So I'm in Manitoba, Canada. That's like the center of Canada.
I know it.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I've been doing research. I've been hearing your bios. I'm like blown away. I'm hearing your stories. Like I said, I'm melting over here. But I saw that you've worked on 260 films in over the past 20 years. Like, that's incredible.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of an exaggeration because it's not that. I mean, it doesn't mean that I produced all those films, but I mean,
No.
I had a little piece in marketing and distribution and being somebody's assistant or being involved in casting or whatever it may be. So, I guess if you want to count every little dust that's in the sky, then yeah, about 260 odd films is something that I got to experience. But
That's
I can't
amazing.
say that I single-handedly did any of those. But, it was an honor to be a part of it for sure.
Absolutely. Well, being a teacher, getting students to work on one thing in a semester or a year is a huge, huge feat. So that's awesome. 260. That's amazing. So, I mean, you mentioned a few of those different aspects that you worked on with those films. So what would you say is your favorite in the industry thus far?
Well, I really enjoy the creative process. I enjoy the production of it all, from actors to directors to developers to writers to accountants to lawyers to investors to craft services to security. I mean, insurance. You have to know everybody in order to produce a film. When you watch a film and you watch it till the end, there's hundreds and hundreds of people that are in the ending credits. From editors to color correctors to Jimmy Jib operators to grips to assistants to hair and makeup to what have you. And I think it's just fascinating and exciting to have relationships with people from all walks of life, with all different kinds of skills and capabilities, and to be able to learn things that you don't know, that you're not a professional in, is an incredible learning experience. So to be able to build that team together and to be able to create opportunities for other people, aside from myself, is the most exciting part. I don't really enjoy the investment part of it because trying to find money to make something work is always a headache. And also, I'm not a writer, so I don't write scripts or direct because that's not in my blood. But to be able to bring creators together and to build a team where we can create something out of all those skill sets put together is something that I really enjoy. So being a producer is my favorite part of the business.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, you're like the puppet master of the whole.
Almost, yeah, sometimes.
Cool. I love that. Do you have any dreams left that you want to achieve in the industry? I don't know if it's possible, but is there other things that you have left?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I know that you guys were introducing me with a very long, boring bio of all the things that I was doing over the past 20 years. But as of currently, not only do I operate Kino 33 Entertainment, which is my, sole proprietor company that I, run in the United States, which is a production company in film and music. But I also run a company in Korea called Artist Company. And Artist Company is a production / management company where I represent 22 actors in Korea. One of which is Lee Jung-Jae from Squid Game, and Sodam Park from Parasite, and Choi Yeon from All of Us Are Dead, which is a high school zombie movie that's out on Netflix right now. And we also have a production arm within the company called Artist Studio. And our first production was a Netflix TV series called The Silent Sea, which you can also watch on Netflix right now. So that really takes up most of my time right now as managing director of Artist Company and Artist Studio. And I'm sure you guys have seen in the media and on TV these days, Lee Jung-Jae has been winning every award at all the awards ceremonies, from SAG to Critics' Choice to Super Critics to AFI to the Spirit Awards. And when you watch that TV, the person that's sitting right next to him is me. So having a really, really good time campaigning for him and creating awareness for our company and for our talent. So it's been an amazing time for Korean content. But at the same time, it's a very important time for us to realize that now that everyone's watching us, it's very imperative that we make even stronger content that we've been doing before, so that we don't, discourage or disappoint the expectations of our fans. So, that's what's really taken up most of my time. That's the reason why I've been traveling so much the past 3-4 months. But right now at this time, I've been busy managing Artist Company and our talent that's been doing so well on Netflix. So really exciting.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how music and sound enhance the way we consume media?
Well, that's more of a technical question,
Mhm.
but I used to run an audio company called Sonic Tier. I'm no longer involved in that anymore since I work at Artist Company now. But we used to, when I was there, we used to develop and distribute immersive sound. In the theater business, the most important 3 things are 3 S's: screen, seats, and sound. And those are the 3 S's that we highly take a lot of stress and effort into building and generating quality. The screen has to be good because you want your viewers to watch the films in the best possible, pixels and resolution and quality possible. You want to have the best seats in the house so that people are watching our content comfortably. And then sound is also very important because this is, I think, probably the easiest way to describe sound is, when you're watching content without music and without sound, it's hard to really build up emotion.
Yeah.
But when you're watching a sad movie and it's raining, and the violins and the cellos are playing in the background in really sad minor tone, and it's like, oh my God, you're going to start tearing up really fast, right?
Yeah.
But if you have sound that really immerses you into that experience and you feel like it's actually raining because you can hear the rain falling down from the speakers, and the violin sounds are just literally, swabbing in and out of your left and right ear,
Yeah.
then there's no way you're not going to cry.
Yeah.
So, music and sound and audio collaborated with music and content is very, very, very important. So, we really stress that as much as we possibly can.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about the 3D audio software that you created?
Well, I didn't create it. Our developers created it. But that company, I'm not really sure what they're doing these days because I've been away from it for so long. But it's comparable to like a Dolby, the Dolby systems that we use all across North America, Fire or IMAX. It's an immersive sound system where multiple speakers are placed all over one theater so that you're getting sound from every angle. And if I get even more technical, some systems are channel based and some systems are location based, meaning the editors can move sound any which way they want to depending on what kind of system you have. So you can hear a train go from left to right or a car moving from front to back.
Yeah.
So that you really feel like you're in the screen rather than just watching it from afar. So those are all technical things that these technologies are capable of doing. So when you're in like a 4D theater and the chairs are moving and air is being blown into your face and the water is dropping from the ceiling, those are all the things that these technicians and editors do to create a more immersive experience for the audience.
I love that. I have one last thing I was
Sure.
going to ask you. I was trying to find what your favorite color is, so this would apply, but I couldn't find out what it was. Can I send you a Young Global Citizen t-shirt?
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Q. My people will call your people.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're going to head a little further east for our next question for you.
Cool.
I think that's me. Hi, nice to meet
I
you.
see you. Yeah.
First of all, it's an honor. My name's Josh. They chose me to represent Halifax, Nova Scotia. And I've got a few questions written out here for you, if you don't mind.
Say that again.
I've just got a few questions written out here. If
Yeah,
you don't
absolutely.
mind.
Go for it.
Perfect. So the first one here is, did you ever get the chance to meet Psy himself? And like, how did you know Gangnam Style would take over the world?
Of course. I guess it'll be easier to just tell you the story. That's another long story, but I'll try to keep it as short as I possibly can. July 15th of 2012 was when Gangnam Style was released on YouTube. At that point in time, I never had seen it. I honestly have never even met Psy at the time. And I knew some of his songs, but I never knew what he looked like because, I'm just as American as you guys. I didn't really listen to Korean content back in the day. Literally not even 10 to 15 days later, it was July 30th of 2012. And some friends had called me and they asked me if I had seen the music video. So they sent it to me with a link. And I saw it and it was Gangnam Style. And I watched it all the way through and then I called him back and I was like, what do you want to do with this? And they're like, oh, we want to buy the rights to the song. And I was like, all right, let me see what I can do. And I called a very good friend of mine who's also a singer in Korea. And I asked him if he could introduce me to Psy. So literally 2 days later, I met Psy, and I told him, hey, there's some people in the US that that want to buy the rights to your song. Are you interested? And he thought I was the biggest liar on the planet, because he's never performed ever or done anything outside of the US. His songs have never traveled, outside of Korea. So, it took me a couple weeks to convince him to get on a plane and go to LA with me. And once we got to LA, I introduced him to Scooter Braun. And Scooter is Justin Bieber's manager. And he's the one that wanted to buy the rights to the song. So I found a way to convince Sai to go to Los Angeles with me. And as soon as we landed, I took him to Scooter's house. And then we talked about, what could possibly be. And Scooter put Gangnam Style on the radio. And all of a sudden it went crazy. And then we took him to Dodger Stadium and made him dance in front of the fans at the stadium, and it went crazy. And then we were able to do a deal with Psy to manage him in the US. And after that, Scooter did his thing. He put him on the Ellen Show, hooked him up with MC Hammer to do a mashup with Too Legit to Quit. He put him on the AMAs, took him to Saturday Night Live, did a skit on Saturday Night Live, and we were on every show in the US that was possible. And it just became this viral sensation, literally, within a couple of weeks. And then, we were on the Billboard charts all the way up till #2 for as long as can be. And we hit number 1 and 2 in the UK. And it was this whole crazy, situation that just happened all at once. And so, obviously Psy and Scooter were getting a lot of notoriety in the US, and I was getting a lot of notoriety in Korea. And it was just this roller coaster ride for the next year. It was amazing. And we had a lot of fun. And it really put K-pop on the map, because K-pop has been really trying to put themselves on the map for a long, long time, spending a hell of a lot of money trying to do what they do to get, respected and recognized and exposed. And we were able to do it in this crazy way where, it became almost a pioneer to, creating a path for BTS and all these other K-pop bands that are so successful today. So, that's kind of how it really happened. It was the power of YouTube and having a phenomenal network and being at the right place at the right time, and friends helping friends, and really having a really good time. Marketing Gangnam Style was really, I think, what drove the success of the project. And people still remember it today, which is the most important thing. And obviously, thanks to YouTube and thanks to Scooter Braun, obviously. I mean, he's such an amazing, music mogul and entrepreneur. I mean, look at what he's doing today with
It was definitely
with all the incredible talent that he has. I mean, if it wasn't him, I don't think we would have gotten to where we were. So it was an incredible experience, and it was an honor for me to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think Gangnam Style was definitely the breakthrough that, like you said, K-pop was waiting for. I mean, even now it's still stuck in I find myself just like repeating it sometimes. I got one more question here for you,
Sure.
I think. And that's just, so I know recently, like a lot of like Korean media, as you said, like cinema and TV shows have seen a lot of popularity with like Parasite winning a bunch of awards at the Academy Awards. And then like, of course, Squid Game, and now All of Us Are Dead, which are both doing amazing on Netflix. I was just like wondering if you had any other like Korean pieces of media like that are kind of hidden gems that you think would really be something to look into here in the Western culture.
Absolutely. I mean, thanks to Netflix and other streaming platforms, now with the click of your thumb, you can watch content from all over the world.
Yeah, it's easier than ever.
The dream was to always follow and to be fans of Hollywood content, because Hollywood obviously is still the mainstream market and the mainstream platform for all talent and actors and behind the scenes people to have the opportunity to work. It's like Major League Baseball. People want to play in the U.S. Because that's the top of the top. But opportunities and the tables have turned a little bit because of streaming platforms. Now, people there. America is filled with people from all walks of life, from all different ethnicities and countries from all over the world. And now, everyone is getting a fair opportunity to be recognized, be it Indian content or Vietnamese content or French content or British content or Korean content, whatever it may be. Because we've been recognized, it gives other older projects that didn't get the chance to be recognized an opportunity to now be found. I've been watching Korean dramas since 2006. There's a lot of, really depending on your age range and what you're allowed to watch, there's a lot of great dramas in Korea. Sandglass, the Sandglass.
Yeah.
That drama was one of my favorites growing up. All In was one of my favorites growing up. Stairway to Heaven was another one. Most recently, Itaewon Class. My wife, was watching that, so I kind of organically watched it with her and kind of, loved watching that. There's some like soap opera kind of ones like called Penthouse, which was also kind of fun to watch. A little evil, but still fun to watch, just because it's entertainment.
You gotta have it.
I'm watching one called 39 right now, which is kind of a girly, like, series, but I enjoy watching those too because I like romantic comedies and dramas. But if you just go on Netflix and you just type in Korean dramas, you'll get a pretty good library of good shows that you can just kind of watch and flip through. And if you don't like it after the first or second one, then you can move on to the next one. So, and the subtitles are starting to get a little bit better. Back in the day, they didn't really stress subtitles, but now, we got to make sure the subtitles are on point because we want to make sure that our stories are being translated properly. But there's a lot of great dramas out there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm definitely gonna check out a few of those at least.
And watch a couple of mine too. Operation Chromite was a film that I worked on that I executive produced. I don't think that's on Netflix right now.
It'll get there.
You can probably find it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then Along with the Gods is another film that I worked on here in Korea. But I'll keep you guys posted. You guys follow my social media and I'll make sure I promote my stuff correctly. So you guys have an opportunity.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. That's all for me.
You got it.
Have a good one.
Great. Thank you, Joshua. We're going to move back across the country to Surrey, in British Columbia. And we have a question, our next question for you.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 박지윤입니다. 방탄소년단 사이 같은 한류 스타를 소개시켜 줄 수 있나요? 그리고 한국 정치자에게는 한국어로 대답하고 영어 정치자에게는 다시 영어로 대답해 주시겠습니까?
What other K-pop star can I introduce you to? Was your question? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, that really depends. Who do you want to meet? I mean, there's so many of them. The actors that the the talent that I work with is mostly actors. You know, I represent 22 actors at Artist Company, and they're all actors. My wife is a singer in Korea, so she's a K-pop singer. I could introduce you to her.
If
Oh,
you introduce them.
possibly. If they have time and they're not busy and they're not working on a certain project, there may be some people that I might be able to introduce you guys to.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you so much, Ryan. So Cynthia was going to ask, why do you think South Korea is experiencing a golden age globally right now? From music to movies to TV. What do you think's at the epicenter of that movement?
I have no idea. I guess it's just our opportunity right now. It's really hard to say. Just all the hard work that we put in is now being recognized, and our content is being put on platforms where they're reachable at a global scale. We've been able to collaborate with Western and mainstream artists, which have helped catapult us to be a little bit more recognized than that. I think, and then we've meshed really well with global content. I think a collective collaboration of all of that, I guess, has really put us on the map. I think K-pop obviously is a huge pioneer of helping make that happen. Get into the U.S. market, like Channel Park from Los Angeles Dodgers, and Lee Jung-Jae, who plays for the Toronto Blue Jays, and several other, you know, Che Ji-man, who plays for you know, Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and Son, you know, Son from, you know, the soccer player over in Son Min from you know, in the EuroLeague in the UK. I think you know, sports stars and singers and actors have really paved the way for us to be recognized, and I think that has really helped us become a leader in this business. And staying relevant, I think, has helped a lot.
Yeah, thank you. It's just a really wonderful thing to see. And I think I speak for everybody. We just hope it just keeps on going in the right direction.
Me too.
Yeah, it's really quite fantastic.
Oh, can you all see me? Okay, great. Hi, it is so nice to meet you. I find you so inspiring. As a Capricorn, I can relate to how driven you are, and I appreciate that. So my question is, we are a grassroots movement of students and teachers whose goal is to save the planet through education. From just a handful of kids, we have grown worldwide and already received major recognition, but this is just the beginning for us. Can you assist us with networking so we can take root in new areas of South Korea and China?
Absolutely. Let me know what you need.
Awesome, that's great. Thank you so much.
Easy enough.
Alrighty.
No guarantee that I can make something happen, but I can definitely put in the effort to try.
Listen, that is okay. I totally understand. You just never know, right?
Absolutely. Someone
Okay.
gave me a chance, right?
Okay, yep.
There you go.
Thank you for that. I think the wonderful thing about, just on the heels of Davina, what she was saying, is Young Global Citizens started just with a few. It started with a concept. It started with an idea. It started with many of us who were right at the beginning, just conceptualizing and setting the values and the goals of what we'd like to come to fruition. And it's quickly grown to something really, really profound, and has, as you've heard, students and teachers and young people all over the world that are connected with this common set of values that I spoke about at the beginning. And it really is a movement of wanting to change the world. It's really a movement of wanting to be a part of the world and be a part of the world as a global citizen, which really is the pith of this organization. So being able to reach other youth and other inspiring people to have these interviews and have these conversations where we get to share and inspiring each other both ways would be hugely valuable for all of the existing young global citizens as well as the future. So thank you. I wondered, as we're moving into our final question, and I can't thank you for your time and explanation for all of these questions. Perhaps if you could, a final message or something for our Asian Canadian youth, our Asian American youth, and our young global citizen students and teachers audience. Any final thoughts or advice or anything you like at this point?
I think what I'd like to say is when I look back on my life, which is what, 40 some years now, I'm just a small town kid from Seattle, like I told you earlier in this session. I wasn't born into royalty. I didn't grow up with, a lot of incredible, extraordinary people in my life or anything like that. I wasn't given anything. I wasn't a straight A student. I was just an average kid, that had simple dreams. And if I knew what I knew now back then, maybe I would have made some different decisions, and maybe I might be in a different position now. Who knows? But it doesn't make any sense to dwell on the past. But what's important for everyone to know is that it's important to have a strong foundation and a loving family and good support staff and amazing mentors and teachers that put you in positions of opportunity and influence and power, so that when you do gain that or earn that power, you're able to use that power and influence to create opportunities for other people. That's the most important thing. But before you even get to that level, some of you may be still, in grade school, going into high school, and then into college in the near future, and then, be like us in the real world where you have to start paying for your own bills and and do your own laundry and make your own food. It's very important, not just in college, but even in high school and grade school, to really build strong relationships, build genuine friendships with people around you. I mean, there's always going to be that one guy in class that you're not going to like, but that's going to happen everywhere and anywhere you go in life. There's always going to be that one person that you're not going to like at your company or at your school or at your church or it doesn't matter where it is. There's always that one thing, that one mosquito that always gets in the way. But it's really important to marinate and to build and to maintain strong relationships and find people that have common ground and similar interests and whatnot, because you never know where those people are going to go one day. They could be the next president of the world, or the most, the most amazing doctor or lawyer or physician or architect or actor. You never know what your friends are ever going to become. And to know that history of how you guys grew up and to be able to appreciate those kind of friends that you have in your life is really important, because sooner or later your crowds will pass again and you may be working together. When you're working with people that you have history with and you enjoy and that you respect, your life and your job becomes that even that much more fascinating and fun to do. So, network is very important. Obviously getting good grades is important too, but even more important than that is to have a really good network of really genuine people that, support you and trust you and love you, that are going to be with you through thick and thin. So, especially when you get to the college level, please make sure that not only are you going to class, but you're also making a great network of friends that are going to last you a lifetime, because there's no one in this world that succeeds on their own. There's always people that are supporting you and pushing you and challenging you to be better. And then there's all those haters out there that are trying to bring you down, that at the same time will help motivate you to even, prove to yourself that you can outlast and win through those little potholes that you go through in life. So I guess my advice to the younger generation is, do what you do, build a strong foundation, but make sure the foundation around you of people that you decide to choose to be in your life are people that are going to be around for a long, long time. It's a story of my life. I have so many people that have been in and out of my life, but there's people that have also been a constant, that have been there no matter how bad I was or how good I was, and that's the beauty of friendship. That's really what you take away in life. When you die one day, the two things that you take away is your memories and your legacy. Everything else stays behind. Your cars and your watches and your money and your house and all that kind of stuff you can't take with you, right? As far as what I've been educated with. So, building lifelong lasting memories into eternity and to leave a legacy where people will remember you as an influence is I think the two key things to life. So please, while you're still young, build a strong network of people that support you and that you enjoy supporting. And also when you do gain that power and you have to relinquish that power at one point in time, to take the time to create opportunities for other people so that they can live on your legacy.
Wow, thank you very much. That is really wonderful advice. I love the legacy piece. Just as we get to near the end here, I just wanted to share my gratitude for your time, and on behalf of all of us, thank you very, very much. It's been so wonderful to spend this time with you. We have one more student actually who's going to sort of close and culminate our interview.
Sure.
Alex Siddiqui, he is a grade 7 student from Blessed Sacrament School, right in Vancouver, BC, so my home city. And he would like to extend our gratitude to you. And so Alex, you can go ahead and take it from here, okay?
Okay. Mr. Lee, thank you for meeting us today. We have a special present for you, which we would like to ship over to you in Seoul. It is a custom-made Thunderbird frame by an indigenous artist at the Latimer Gallery in Vancouver. Today, we also give you the title of Young Global Citizen. All of the students will now unmute themselves and join me in thanking you. Goodbye, Mr. Lee, and see you again. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.